Boynton Beach, Florida was in the news a couple of weeks ago. You see, Boynton Beach features a park named Sara Sims Park after a local activist from the early 1900s. And anyone who knows anything about Sara Sims knows that she was all about peace. So the good citizens of Boynton Beach decided that, in her honor, to not only preach about peace, but also to put their money where their mouth is. Or was, because this news clip dates to about 6 years ago. But we need to set the stage for the recent happening. So here goes.
Neighbors call it a high crime area, but Boynton Beach is investing more than $1 million to renovate a community park, making it safer for children.
News Channel 5's Ryan Hughes live in Boynton with why the project is drawing mixed reactions. Ryan?
Michael and Kelly, good evening. And I spoke to several parents who tell me they will not allow their kids to play here because it simply is not safe. And they're not convinced that this new project will help. But others
chalk this dude up as another one that looked like he was drawn by a criminal sketch artist.
No, he had squintier eyes, and his eyebrows were more arched. That's him. That's the one. I hope you find the bastard.
Keep in mind that when it comes to making Sara Sims Park safe, the bar was already pretty low.
Sometimes they do shoot, and that makes it dangerous. But other than that, nothing really happens.
Sometimes they do shoot, and that makes it dangerous. But other than that, it's perfectly safe. Except when they shoot. So the city hired a company, WGI, to renovate the park. And what did WGI have in mind? Well, this photo is what they posted on their project website. The page states, the design for the master plan improvements included developing various walking trails and trailheads, updating modern restrooms, signage improvements, and incorporating public art elements. Okay. Additional services included landscape and irrigation improvements, as well as various park elements including pavilions, security fencing, and parking upgrades. As part of the master plan improvements, WGI also developed a contemplation area within the historic African American cemetery inside the park. Wow! You can hang out with your dead ancestors and contemplate. That will make things very safe. And how much did this cost? $1.35 million. We move on, and 6 years later, Sara Sims Park is the host of a public rally. Yeah, about that. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
Here the locals have gathered at Sara Sims Park, the mecca of safety, because $1.35 million. The park renovators included walking trails, but no running trails. Well, the locals here will now carve out their own. And away we go. Burn those calories. Okay, I'll tell you the name of the rally, but you have to promise me not to laugh, because there's nothing funny about a shooting. No, sir. So here goes. The name of the rally was, you're not going to laugh, right? Peace in the Hood. You're laughing. You know you are. You'll be coming into the comments section now. Honest, I didn't laugh, JWD. I didn't think a rally called Peace in the Hood that ended up with the shooting is funny at all. The shooting isn't funny. 3 people were shot. They certainly didn't think it was funny. I gotta think about something serious, something that isn't funny. The Challenger disaster. People died. One of the fatalities was a school teacher. That wasn't funny. Okay, let's move on. Luckily, no one was killed. 3 of the 4 injured were women, which could only mean that men were probably the intended targets. There are some interesting observations we can make here. This woman ran about as far as she could, 20 yards, and forget taking cover. Who cares about bullets? She has to crawl to get her shoes, and this creates a logjam of cellulite. This dude here loses his cell phone. That's okay. It's out in the very center of the street, so cars should miss it. But then he spies, of all the luck, a Ford F-250 with dualies. So he begs the driver to not roll over his cell phone. I find it amazing that we've just had a shootout where everyone has scattered, yet he runs out in the open with no cover to retrieve his cell phone. This dude shoots out his own car window. Gee, I wonder if that will make it easy to figure out which car was involved in the shooting. This lady here senses that something is up, then literally throws the kid into the back seat of the car. We want to get the hell out of there, but we can't because water bottle. If you drive off, the water bottle will fall off and hit the ground. That would be terrible, but it's so far out of reach. I know, let me use my gun to sweep it off the hood. That's much better than simply driving off. Keep in mind that this is hardly the first time that gunfire erupted at a public event, and it's certainly true that all races have had a hand in these gun battles. You see, it's not the shooting so much that makes this story interesting. It's the post-melee response. So how did Peace in the Hood come about? One day, a local activist, whose identity has not been released probably out of concerns for her safety, decided that she wanted to take the lead in the neighborhood safety movement because social justice warrior. And according to CBS News 12, she submitted a special events application in mid-June to host Stop Violence Awareness at the park. However, the application was denied by the Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department. I'm not sure why the city denied her application, but I suspect they have a problem with stopping violence awareness. I always thought violence awareness was a good thing. I mean, why stop it? So her application was rejected. However, she was undeterred. She decided to dig deep into her well of creativity and formulated a clever plan. If the city wasn't going to issue her a permit to host the rally, she'd just host it anyway. So she did, and the Peace in the Hood rally resulted in 3 people shot. But who do you blame? You might think the victims of the shootout at the BLM Corral would point their fingers at those doing the shooting. Hello, it's 2025. What about the event organizer? Well, you must be as naive as an American retiree in Bangkok. I mean, the city isn't even going to cite her. So no consequences whatsoever. Gee, I can't imagine why crime is such a problem in Boynton Beach. So who do we blame for this event? The city. You know, that entity that denied the activist permission to even hold the event? You think I'm joking? Okay, get a load of this.
A new video shows the chaos during last month's mass shooting in Boynton Beach. It happened at the Peace in the Hood rally at Sara Sims Park. At least one person believes the video shows why the violence should have never happened. Ari Height joining me now in the studio with more on that and on the arrest police just made in this case.
The new video clearly shows the danger and the terror at Sara Sims Park on July 5th. The Boynton Beach police inserted those squares you see. Each one represents a person holding a gun. Investigators say 2 rival gangs start shooting at each other, and the crowd of about 500 runs for their lives. In the end, 3 people were shot. Many others were injured in the chaos or by flying glass. Richard Riles is an attorney who represents 4 people who were injured that day, including 2 who were shot. He says the city could have and should have stopped this event before it started.
Gee, I would think denying the activists permission to hold the event would be enough.
They should have put signs out. They could have even deterred people from attending the park.
Evidently, the lawyer smells money. I mean, he sees an opportunity to seek justice for the victims of police brutality. And if you're wondering what the police have to do with this, hang on.
It just, I think, supports the fact that this was a very dangerous event and that law enforcement should have been there.
The event was called Peace in the Hood. The organizer had asked the city for a permit and was denied, but went ahead and held the event anyway. Riles says he believes the city should have made it clear the event was not permitted and therefore would not have adequate police presence.
So I think that everyone thought that this was a sanctioned event, and unfortunately they did it at their peril.
You laughed when I mentioned the heroin, but Riles believes that no one would have shown up if they had been told that the cops wouldn't be there. Wait, His idea has merit. The next time the locals in LA host a street takeover, the cops should post signs that this event is not city sanctioned. Riles, the rally was illegal. That's why the city didn't provide any security for it.
It just, I think, supports the fact that this was a very dangerous event and that law enforcement should have been there.
Why are you blaming the lack of police protection for the violence when we've been told that the police are the biggest threat to black people's safety? Having the police there, why, that'd be like signing a death certificate for all the young black males at the rally. Or perhaps the popo threat is really just a myth propagated by race hustlers. Could that be it?
It's important to note that no lawsuit has been officially filed yet. The attorneys want to give the city the chance to further investigate and come to the table before any further legal action is taken.
That, my friends, is what you call a shakedown. It's essentially a legal form of extortion, and the city will give him and his clients money because it's not their money they're spending. It's why they could spend $1.35 million on a park in the first place. Now, many of you know that my videos often feature contemplation at the end, not hanging out in the cemetery sort of contemplation that you can get at Sara Sims Park, but reflection on what we learned. And in so doing, I formulated some questions. So here goes. For all you local peace activists out there, what outcome did you expect from this event? You're hosting a peace rally. To do what? Raise awareness of violence? Are you telling us that the locals are not already aware of it? Or are you there to tell the criminal element that you're fed up with violence and you're not going to take it anymore? Well, they know you're lying. Because every time one of their fellow gangbangers gets shot by the cops, you side with the gangster. Here's a minister talking about the safety of Sara Sims Park and how that affects the children in the neighborhood.
We want to be able to have it safe for the children, not only for the children, but for each and everyone that come through this area.
Reverend William Bowie is the pastor at Community Deliverance Church directly across the street. He says crime is a problem in this neighborhood, but is glad to see the city investing to make it safer.
It's very much needed because there was times even after service that was always interrupted by folks that was over in the park that was doing their own way, things that were not.
A lot of you think that I pick on black criminals because racist. No, I pick on black criminals because they make it more dangerous for people like him. A minister, a man of the cloth, a good dude. He wants to be able to walk down to the store and not get robbed. But who do the activists and other race hustlers side with? The thugs. Every freaking time.
Poor little Ryan Hinton got shot by the cops. Sure, he stole a car and ran from the cops while carrying a stolen gun, but that doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Sorry, but if you're living in the hood, the Ryan Hintons of the world are not your friends. They're the ones that make living in these areas so oppressive. It's not the cops making it hard on you. Oh, and what did Ryan's father do? He picked out a white cop at random and ran him over in revenge, killing him while at the same time becoming a folk hero among the Richard Taylors, Amazing Lucases, and introvert rock stars of the world. So that raises my next question. What can the neighborhood do to make parks like Sara Sims safe? Well, I'll answer that in an upcoming video. In the meantime, like my video and subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, that looks like his cowboy hat. His sunglasses were darker, and he was much better looking. Can you make him better looking? And more rugged. Yes, that's him. That's the pervert who was peeping in my window while I was getting dressed.